Not even a year, less than a year.
Yeah, it wasn't even
and we got engaged. You know, when you know, you know. And we're still newly married because I don't think we mentioned that. We've been married for just 4 months.
Yeah. What's good? It's Delavier.
What it do? It's Jess.
And welcome to our channel. Now it's the struggles of communication. We have 3 topics, that would obviously most definitely help you. So you're gonna want to stay to the end to get the most value out of it. Number 1, I would have to say in our relationship is cultural differences. I think it was the biggest one simply because your family, Colombian, very passionate. I'm from the Pacific Northwest. I'm from the West Coast, but I was raised a bit different, and we have our own level of strictness in our household. But what do you think culturally was the defining factor where it's just like, we gotta work on this?
Well, because it was a thing that you would continue to bring up, and it was, for those that are familiar with just the Hispanic culture, and in general, like people from South Florida. South Florida is very diverse.
Yeah, you gotta be specific. Say South Florida.
South Florida is very diverse. We have people from all parts of the world, but mostly, we have African Americans. We have a large Caribbean population. We have a lot of people from South America, mostly from these parts of the world. And within the Hispanic community, we're just very expressive. We use our hands a lot. Not like this, but we use our hands a lot when we speak. And even when we're not upset, we might, a lot of people say that Hispanic people are loud. And that could just be because we're just passionate how we speak.
That's the word, passion.
No matter what the topic is. So sometimes he would think I'm raising my tone like I'm upset. And I'm like, I'm not upset. That's just how we speak. And the way that my parents and I speak to each other is very different from how he would speak to his parents. But not in the way where cussing at my mom. Oh my gosh.
It sounds like they on the brink of doing that anyway. I'm like,
he's watching like it's a movie, grab some popcorn because we'll know what's happening next. But no, it's just we're just very expressive in how we speak. Very passionate. There's a lot of emotion in what we say. And there's a lot of emotion in how I speak. And that's something that we're still working on in our relationship.
Definitely. We definitely still working on it. Trust me, we not gonna be all the way there. It's always gonna be something to work on, you know what I'm saying?
And we're still newly married, because I don't think we mentioned that. We've been married for just 4 months.
Yeah. We're
super fresh.
Brand new.
And just to put a little bit more context behind that, we dated for a year. Not even a year, less than a year.
Yeah,
and we got engaged. You know, when you know, you know. And I prayed about it a lot.
That's a story for.
That's another story, but I know he was the one for me. But we're still learning about each other. We didn't have, 10 years of a relationship and you'll never know your person throughout your whole life. You're always going to continue. You'll never fully learn somebody. You're always, because people continue to grow, and you're always going to continue. Yeah, you should always continue to grow. So you're always going to learn about each other, and especially now where we're still learning that we're still growing. So it's very, very fresh in our marriage, and these are things that we're going to continue to grow in, to overcome, and
right. So with her being raised in the way that she was and how they do things, it was the complete opposite on my end. Talk about tone, delivery. There ain't no such thing as no passion in your voice. Boy, you get the passion knocked out clean across your jaw all the way, man.
But let me just say something though. I don't scream to my mom. We don't. Oh no. My mom didn't play that either. I used to get whippings when I was younger. Not on some child abuse stuff, but things that I had to a little. What would you call it? Corporal punishment.
I mean, it is corporal punishment.
Yeah.
It's biblical. What do you mean?
Yeah, sometimes you gotta do that, set that kid straight, because these kids will walk all over you, step on your neck. And believe me, I was like a little independent child, and my mom had to be like, hold on. But no, it's not like I would like, I don't want to make it sound like my mom and I are yelling at each other.
But like I said, that's the cultural difference. Is that
we weren't yelling or cursing at each other, like at all. Like my mom, she don't play that.
When we say yelling, the black people tonality, if the tone goes up, you yelling. If I'm not talking like this and it's coming up like that, you're yelling. That's the difference in comparison.
This is yelling.
Exactly. So I'd be yelling, right? I would never talk to my dad at this tone, ever. There is no such thing.
His tone go down like over here, and then he stays like that most of the time, unless he's doing something like.
Yeah, I don't even talk like this.
No, he doesn't, but he loves doing this, so this is exciting for him. It's bringing the passion out of you.
Yeah.
The passion.
That's our biggest one, but how we've been able to grow from that is being able to understand each other more and not trying to just X out one another, being like, oh, that's what you do. Well, stop doing it. It's not necessarily like stop doing it. It's just there's a better way of doing it to where it's still, everybody has their own personality, but we're growing with each other, but more so just understanding one another to a respectable level. So I would say we're definitely going leaps and bounds apart from where we were and where we are right now. Emotional. Go ahead. This is yours.
So emotional communication. People display emotions in different ways, or they just don't display them at all. I believe we all feel emotions, but it's how you display your emotions. Like I wear my heart on my sleeve. Like you will know if I'm upset, if I'm happy.
She'll act like she's not upset or not unhappy. I'm like, what are we talking about right now?
I'm fine.
Yeah, I do that a lot. Another part that we were discussing is just the honesty that comes with being honest with your emotions. Because I think I can speak sometimes for women and maybe even men too. I feel like y'all internalize a lot of emotions.
It's
or maybe you don't acknowledge them.
No, I've been to therapy.
Okay.
No.
Flex.
I would say I know, but there has to be an understanding that as a man to a woman, it's, if I were to tell you everything, it just, there's still gonna feel like a disconnect because there's no, you can't solve those things. Some things have to be dealt with by men for men.
Okay, no, I understand that.
So, but even a lot of men, a lot of people don't even know how to explain that or how to address it, and make it more real for them to address it. So,
and I think that's something I struggle with, and I've struggled with for a while, is being able to formulate sometimes my thoughts, my emotions into words and into a way that makes sense to the other person, but that also is not like offensive. And that kind of brings me to the next point of emotional communication, is how you are delivering how you feel. Because your delivery will also have a lot to do with how the person is able to receive that.
So somewhat correlating with the first one, cultural passion.
And what I went off on a tangent when I was bringing up the question if, men internalize the emotions. But as women, I think sometimes we are more emotional creatures, like realistically, than men are. Generally, we are. And we display that more. But I think there's times where that might be almost come off as like nagging or annoying to your significant other, and then you're just like, you're just like, okay, I'm just not gonna say anything and I'm gonna keep it in. And he was asking me like, is that you being dishonest? And I didn't look at it as like lying or being dishonest. It's more like just not, if you think that it might lead to like a discussion or an argument or a disagreement and you just kind of want to keep the peace, then you end up internalizing that and not saying anything, and you keep those emotions in, which in the long run is not a good thing. So that's why it's important to be able to be honest about your emotions, but also be able to communicate that to your spouse in a way that it makes sense to them and that is also respectful, so that they receive it in the best way. And together collectively you can talk about it in a healthy way.
So the next one would be verbal. So you see how all these correlate with one another, how the cultural passion, I love that one, passion. Emotional, but also being honest, knowing how to receive even constructive criticism, and the delivery with passion. But verbal, simply being how can you properly deliver whatever's on your mind, whatever's on your heart, but in a way that your partner can receive it. That would correlate with working on it and being more mindful as far as using your verbal skills. So a lot of us need to work on our verbal skills, being able to kind of take a step back, pause in between as we speak.
Think before you speak.
That as well, but giving your brain a break, you know what I mean? Breathing a little bit, right? And then obviously having the willingness to change, even though it may feel, you're gonna feel it, you may feel like a furnace in your chest. You're like, but you gotta relax and chill out, you feel me? So verbal would be the number trace. You have anything to say about verbal?
No, I mean, I think you covered it pretty much how I would have said. And it really connects to especially to emotional. To say something and the person is hearing you, but they're not, what is it? You're listening, but you're not hearing me, or you're hearing me, but not listening?
Yeah, active listening.
Yeah. You're just like, okay, I hear you, but I'm not like processing what you're saying because I don't like the way that you're saying it. So I'm more focused on how I'm going to respond to what you're saying and be defensive about it because I don't like how you're saying it to me.
Yes, so communication is a give and take, and a lot of people do struggle with it based on upbringing, etc., etc. But at the end of the day, it really comes down to what you're willing to fight for and what you're willing to sacrifice, so then you and your significant other could be better for each other. Let us know in the comment section below if you correlate with any of these, if you want to add any of these, or if you're going to add any of these to your list. Let us know if you've liked any of these at all or just completely despise any of this. But make sure you guys comment, like, and subscribe. We appreciate y'all the fam. We can't have nothing but love for y'all guys, but you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.
God bless.